Send help. I am stuck in my old leather armor. It's too much, you guys. Don't do 2 layers of armor. Dropped the kids off at the grandparents' house, and I have finished the 5th lecture in my 2nd unit of the class I'm taking. Ready to go in this 13-hour car ride to the national event. So I studied ahead, and all those notes are coming with me, and I am so jazzed I fit them in. I am going to have a little bit of time for eating dinner, doing some yoga to get nice and stretched before I get in the car for that long. My buddy Nick is going to be here in like an hour and a half. Nick is gonna get here and pick me up, and we'll meet up with Will, and we go! I'm excited. Ooh, here we go. Here we go, forever in the car. Snooze cruising in the back. Yeah. It is 5 a.m. It is not light yet, but we've been on the road for 8 hours, and there's only 4 hours left. That means the 3rd person is taking their shift, and I'm gonna try to snooze again. Honestly, I can hardly believe that I just drove 4 hours, because time really flies when you're talking about nerdy LARP stuff with your friends. Look where I am! We made it! We are at the Crossroads site in Tennessee, and it's like 9 in the morning, and Dab's not even gonna be here until like 2, but we can't check into the hotel until 3. So now that we drove all night, I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna go sleep in the car. Good night. I have never been happier to be short than I am today. Because I can just snooze right in this car. Okay, so I just told Nick to drink a bottle of water because we have been sleeping in the car for a couple hours, and it's lovely, but we are kind of roasting, and we will be LARPing tonight. And Nick started going off about being a scout. Okay, my dude.
Yeah, we don't need to sleep or hydrate.
No sleeping and no hydrating?
Yeah, how many defensives do you have?
Oh, yeah, that's gonna save us.
Yeah, I'm on...
We'll just dodge through our dehydration. We'll just dodge it.
Lesson 1 on a scout, the 2 Ds, damage and defensives. That's it. That's the whole first lesson.
You don't need sleep. You don't need hydration.
Yep.
If you find yourself about to pass out on a battlefield, evade that. Just evade it. Dodge it.
Lesson 2, equally important. Evade for me, parry for thee.
Oh yeah, maybe for people who aren't Nikujo. Nikujo doesn't take parries for you. Nikujo takes parries for spell parries.
We're here getting ready for the national event in Tennessee, and Susie from Healthy Heroes is sharing the importance of sodium loading before an event for health.
Look, it's legitimately a thing in like higher level athletics that people track their sodium. That's not what I'm doing on purpose. It just happens to be a side effect of how awesome this omelet is, okay? You just do what you gotta do. Do you see this protein?
Oh, I see it.
I'm focused on this protein, okay? This is healthy fuel for a LARP event. Thank you very much.
All right, I'm buying it.
All right, here's Nick, and here we are. Hey, Battle Buddies and Healthy Heroes, I made it. And I took a nap, and we got some food, and so now it is time for us to walk around the site. This is your first time here as well?
Yep.
Our first time ever at the Tennessee Crossroads site, and we're just gonna go on a little adventure, looking around the whole place. A lot of people got here early, like even days in advance, setting up their tents. So we are here, this is Friday at around 1 p.m. Yeah. You want
to get to see it in person instead of on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. Nick. Come on, you do the tour.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know where I'm going, so if you want, this is really lovely. Is this like a personal PC's stuff?
Yes, this is the Wild Roses.
Wow.
A group of NPCs who used to LARP in Europe.
Ooh.
Way harder than I expected.
And so, did they come early to set that up, or do you let them leave it here? Is that like a permanent?
They came early to set up.
Okay, so they do it up and down each time?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, that's a beautiful level of dedication to a nice little area.
Love it. So as you can see, works in progress. Working on building a fence gate thing.
Yourself a bard. Ooh, what is this?
This is new. We have, I think this is going to be like a little pirate dock.
Ooh, they got a pirate ship.
Yeah.
And so like game is gonna happen on these little platforms. Can I walk?
So.
Can I walk on them?
I have not walked on them yet.
Ooh, let's do an adventure. Your little
Sort of little battlement.
wall structure battlements. I don't think I've ever played at a site that has anything other than the woods for like rogue cover or battle strategy. So like actual built structures to like dotted all over the land. Very cool.
Very excited.
Yeah, look at that.
One of the big projects for the summer, and the reason you'll still see the wood piles all over the place, is we've been limb cutting all of this to make it playable. Because before,
Ooh, between the trees. This is where we rogue. This is where we rogue. This is where we rogue.
exactly.
Can't catch me now. Can't catch me now. I'm in the woods.
Ridge, aptly named.
You named it Rogue's Ridge. That's amazing. And this is new as of this summer?
Yeah, all of this was overgrown.
I can
It had
tell
a
all
lot
the
of
work you've
thorns and
done. Yeah, like look
bushes.
at all these fresh cuts.
Yeah.
Rogue's
We've been doing a
Ridge.
ton of woodwork.
So we've walked like a quarter of it up, you saying about?
Yeah. See the
Wow.
whole thing?
I'm up for it. How are you doing, Nick?
Yeah, no, I want to see it in daylight.
Yeah. Who knows where we will need to hide when night
That's
falls?
another new player tip. Get a good grasp of the landscape during the daytime. It's gonna be a lot harder at night.
Yeah, absolutely. These are wise words from our tour guide here. If you're new to a LARP site, please check it out in daylight if you can. So you, especially if you're a scout or a rogue, you know where all your hiding spots are, where all your runaway spots are.
Scout life.
Scout life.
And the other one's steeper than this, right? Yeah. Oh, good.
This is not even the steep one. So we've reached the road. Now this is the top of the site?
This is top of High Road,
Top of High Road.
which is still only like a third of the way into the site.
What?
Usually we'll have one or two Jeeps running players up. So we'll have the Jeeps pull them around. Anyone who doesn't feel like making the walk or tent for any reason,
Oh
they
yeah.
can ride the Jeep to here. The other players will usually come up this trail, meet here, and then they'll fight all the way down this road to the mine. Done.
Done. dungeon with dungeon trappings. Do we actually like go in?
You can go in.
Ooh.
The traps are set up yet, but you won't get all the surprises.
There's traps and stuff in here, guys.
This place will definitely be rigged to explode later.
So like you actually set it with physical traps, like wires and whatever for
Yeah.
all those ledger domain. Is that still the name of the skill?
It's in tinkering now.
Tinkering, yeah, the tinkering skills for people to actually
Yeah, you just need 1 rank of tinkering to disarm a trap.
to disarm traps. You gotta know how flat the ground is, so when you're sprinting around, getting behind people, you know, feel it out with your feet first, and then get in game. Wait, is this the big? I wanna see a big field. You go look there. I'll go look over here. I wanna see how fast my feet can move in this field. There's a big divot over here.
Yes, there is. There's a sinkhole.
Yeah, don't go over there. It's not like sudden though, like you feel it coming. This is a gradual sinkhole. Honestly, for how misty and foggy it's been, I'm really impressed with how dry and reasonable your ground is. Again, coming from New Hampshire, which is so nice and soft and soggy. I miss open fields like this. Like this is the sort of stuff where Nikujo does her like sprinting perimeter control. Like just because it's so open that you're not necessarily sneaking as much, you're just moving. It's just like the fast and fluid mobility. And then you sheepdog. You move the NPCs where you want them. Oh man, I hope I can pretend that Susie is as confident as Nikujo is. I hope I can tap into that. Just go whole hog out here. Because Susie has a terrible sense of direction. I never know where I'm going, and I get nervous and anxious. Wow. So you would just like set up shop on like level 2 of the site.
Yeah.
That's neat. Little, I love it. Like little spots on different levels. You hike a while, you reach a spot, you take a breather. Hike a while, reach a spot, take a breather. Yeah. But Nikujo, she will rogue your brains out. So hopefully when I get immersed into character, I can like slip away into the trees and do cool things. It's one of the magic points of being a LARPer. You make a character and it empowers you. Backside of, oh, I see, here we are. Rogues Ridge has a backside. I actually really like knowing that Rogues Ridge has a backside. Let's note that one. Make a note, friends. Back road of Rogues Ridge. So you think you're roguing up there, and then you're double roguing back here. Watch out. I don't think I've seen Tavern and NPC Camp. Can we swing by there real quick and call it a day for the tour?
Yeah, let's swing by them.
Word. Oh, who's this rapscallion? Is this your little like quest board?
Yeah, that is our quest board where we post a bunch of missions. Players can post notes. We have our wanted board for Vaskov. I think he's a lich.
I mean, with a name like Vizier Vaskov, how can you not be a totally evil dude? Another player tent.
A player tent.
Oh, it's so gorgeous.
They have an in-game shop that they're setting up.
Oh my gosh, how dare they be this amazing? That look at this. I'm not gonna peek in at all their private stuff, but like they got like fairy lights and leaves
the
and
front
like
room is for people. She's gonna be doing ritual castings.
Really?
So she has a back room in the tent for ritual castings that I don't think set up quite yet.
Wow, but like she has it set up to welcome people to come into her shop area. Look at this, like the facade, the in-game facade of this is
shop
just.
will probably have a circle of power around it.
Oh, so cool. Some backstage stuff. So this is NPC,
This is the outside
NPC
of
camp.
NPC camp. We
Supplies.
got our weapons, our shields, some of our costuming. Crossroads.
What a lovely
This
banner.
is the plot desk.
I gotta do like some sort of cinematography on this one. Whoa, here we are! I'm just pretending like I know what I'm doing. I'm like, I've seen Tab do this. This is how you film cool things. more
As far as,
NPC
like, in-game,
nonsense.
as more masks, more costumes, makeup.
Nice. I like how like indoor and secluded and separate this is, so you can really have like your NPCs prepping. Oh, I see. Tab stilts.
Tab still.
Famous tab stilts.
May or may not be out for a reason.
Oh.
I'm sure they're not.
Oh.
They're just for this video.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. They'll be fine.
We'll be fine. I'll rogue a guy in stilts. Don't test me. I'll do it. I'll do it. All right. We'll check back in when it's closer to game on. Bye. No, I can't do tabs. Bye. That's his.
Not in his
Steal the Not in his. I come to his house. Bye. Nah, I'm just kidding. See ya later.
So scared. This is the event where Nakujo learns the power of friendship.
What?
Scout party!
I don't know who you think you're kidding. We'll see though. We'll see how nervous she gets, because she can't have Goldclaw, her sword that she's just been using a lot and having a big important time with, and it's like a really nice rep that helps her fight really well. That sword is not coming through the mists because it's got too many like artifact unstandard LCO. So she's gonna show up and have like a short sword and her claws, and we're gonna have to see how that makes her feel and how willing she is to accept help, to see if she needs to get herself another big Hoochin magic sword to be able to have some range advantage. I have found, since my friends finally convinced me to fight one long, one short instead of two shorts, I have found that range to be like addicting. Like once you have that range, you're like, how do I go back to only two shorts if I'm actually going to stand toe to toe with a big bad? So we'll see. Scout party. I'll scout tornado. I'll tornado with you.
That's lesson 3.
Lesson 3 of scout life. Scout party. This is where you spin around with your friends. It should be like a do-si-do, like a dance. Like, now spin around and corkscrew your enemy.
No, we've done the math. When you hit an obstacle, you add more scouts.
The math checks out.
Just continue that process until the problem's solved. Usually pretty quick.
Yeah. You just gotta circle them. Circle them and get behind them. She'll still do that. She'll do that on a battlefield with people and not be like offended. But I don't know if she's gonna admit that she needs a new sword because she's so proud of her claws already. Ooh, it's gonna be tricky. She's so difficult. Oh, you know, I could even give a little insight. So Nakujo is such a difficult character in regards to her like honor and her stuffiness and her what offends her, which is everything. That like when the out of game rule came out that you can't bring like fancy artifacts, and I knew I couldn't bring my actual longsword, I out of game needed to like go through a couple steps to figure out what would make sense. If me as Susie still wanted to fight with a longsword rep, how could I out of game plan for that to happen? And so I had like my own little story idea, and then my friend Justin had like, he has a loner sword that Tyrion gives out in game. So we out of game coordinated like a handful of options to allow me to have access to a longsword, and then like Susie knows those in the back of my brain, and then I'll go in game as Nakujo, be totally surprised by this lack of sword, and we'll see how the roleplay shakes out. But I did do that prep out of game just to know what my options are. So like the rep is ready, and so we can sort of like facilitate, because if it's going to legitimately make the event worse for me to not have a longsword, you can do that kind of like out of game prep to do what you need to do to have the reps you need to have to fight how you want to fight. That's a little insight into my journey to nationals, the sword problems. Guys, getting ready. Woo! We are close to game on. Okay, I am in the final stages of getting ready for game on Friday night, and I need to confess something. When we got to the hotel room and we had like an hour or two off and I took a little nap, it was difficult to wake up and I was mopey. I was complaining and tired, And like, I think it's valid to note, as like a longtime LARPer of over a decade who's always played a full makeup person, like that moment of mustering for game, it can be a hurdle. I've got a couple little hacks. I listened to some music and I put on the underlayers and the chainmail, and I was like, okay, fine, I'll start the makeup. And I have a moment where I got my second wind, like a moment when it went from a chore to like, oh, I actually really like doing this. And it was when I got the shading and the gaunting and the detail work started. Then I started to get really excited, and I wanted to share with you my favorite ever moment of my makeup, the finishing touch that makes me feel coolest. Let's get out there. Here we are, Friday night at the national event. Let's see who's here. Let's see who's ready for logistics. Let's see if anyone wants to stretch or spar. Maybe I should get my buffers too. Hey, hey! I know you from online.
I know you from online. Are you filming?
I am. I'm just like doing a little tour, see who's ready. Say hi.
You're ready to rock.
So, Jason.
Yes.
I'm Susie. Nice to meet you officially.
My buddy Nick.
Nick, I'm Susie. Nice to meet you. I don't mean to shove a camera in your face upon meeting. Just doing a little getting to site hype. So I'm gonna go see how logistics is doing. Pick up my buffers. Look at all these nerds gathering. Ooh. Let's peek in the tavern. Ooh. It's looking awesome. Look at all these nerds milling about. Super cool. All right, I'm headed off to this cabin because that is where I'm storing my buffers for the weekend. That team has allowed me some space so I don't have to haul the buffers back and forth from the hotel. There's excitement in the air. All right, time for pregame stretching.
Yeah.
That's about as loosey-goosey as I'm gonna get before game on. I should probably logist. So I just committed to going to a hotel breakfast like this because that is my strategy as a full makeup person. I will shower right before game so I'm as clean as can be, and then I get this whole shebang on, play for the first night, and sleep in it. Yesterday was pretty humid. It was a little bit rainy on us, so there's more smears than normal in my overnight makeup. So it's time for the Saturday morning touch-up for the first full day of this event. Let's get going. I am so sad that I had to leave my GoPro in the car charging for the orc wave battle that just happened, because there was a giant dude swinging body with a really long weapon, and when we finally cut him down, he was a strong enough foe that I wanted to eat his heart, of course, to take his power. And that sure is when I got hit by a vengeance. And I dropped. You can't dodge a vengeance. So that would have been great to show you, but alas, it was charging. So I need to share with you that I just got dropped by a vengeance. Good job, orcs. That was scary. Someone's dying out there. So the battlefield is very active right now. Their head of plot, India, who's great, just came out and stood up on a pedestal as this scary looking dragon lady and said, anyone who fought a dragon 2 years ago, it's time for revenge. So she has called out people who were at a previous gather, and there's now a lot of dragon and dragon minions on the field. Nikujo wasn't there, and it's dishonorable and rude to interrupt a hunt that is not yours, to intervene with a fight that was called out specifically against other people. So I'm gonna go prowl and scowl around, but that's not my hunt. We'll see what happens with those dragons. Good luck to those guys. Okay, y'all, I have never been so flattered, and I feel as though I have basically peaked because the exchange that just happened with a very friendly LARPer came up to me and out of game mentioned, like, hey, I've seen your videos. I'm a really big fan, especially your new healer stuff, and I just wanted to give you a present. And he gifted me, like, the most delicious, most adorable little foil swan that was holding fudge, which is very funny because his character is a Beata, and Beata actually like imbibe with fudge. Fudge makes a Beata drunk. So it was like a cute little like in-game, out-of-game combo gift. So I just wanted to say, like, I'm having an amazing time at Nationals. This community is amazing, and special shout out to Rob and his awesome Beata character Hawkins. Thank you for the fudge. You're super cool, and it's been great to play with you too. So it's 10:30 on Sunday night. Game is wrapping up. I'm at the car. Nikujo already left and went home to Goshawk. I cannot get over how phenomenal this event was. So I wanted to say thank you to Tab and India and the whole staff at Crossroads. Everyone did an amazing job. Everyone committed to the role play, to the combat, to the energy, to the whole immersive experience. And something that particularly caught my attention in regards to this final fight that happened, the way Plot was able to think on their feet and just sort of wing it and work with the players, particularly me. I care very much about staying immersed and having like story reasons and plot motivation for what I'm doing. And Nikujo was ready to leave the Fey realm they were trapped in, and they had the swords, they knew the ceremony. It was like, let's just get out of here and go and do it. So I, out of game, decided to go give Plot a heads up. I knocked on the door and I said, hey, I'm a PC. I would like to let you guys know that Nikujo is rallying the town to start the ceremony to leave. She is ready to go. And in that moment, Tab said, you know what? We have another big fight planned. Like, we have a lot of really cool combat, really cool visuals for this that are going to go alongside with that. Can you hold off on trying to immediately initiate the ceremony? And I was like, Tab, out of game, absolutely. I want to work with you. I want to make the event flow. The plot that you want to do, more combat, I am A-okay with it. In game, Nikujo is antsy and impatient, so she was pushing for that. But out of game, I'm gonna help run however I can. So Tab and I, on the fly, he was like, you know what, I got it. I know why Nikujo needs to hesitate. And he had an audio recording, and he was like, with your, Cheetahkin senses and your hearing far off in the distance, you hear this sound. And he played a really creepy recording of like groaning, crackling monsters that I later found out were the husks. And so I was able to go back into game, and instead of doing what she would have naturally done, which is like, time to go, everyone, I was able to help the plot and the story move along I was able to help the story roll the way it was planned to roll, with the final fight and the big theatrical encounter about this, of his monster on stilts is what the final fight was. So obviously out of game, I don't want to miss that. The way I ended up rolling with that in character was saying, I hear something, there are monsters coming. We can't let this ceremony get interrupted. We have to make sure the area is clear and we are safe. This is our only exit strategy out of this terrible Fey realm, and I'm not going to blow it by getting interrupted by monsters. So these monsters are approaching. We have to wait. We have to fight it out, make sure the area is safe. And so that sort of like set up the exposition for exactly what needed to happen. There are 2 parts to this cool story about plot thinking on their toes and rolling with characters and immersion and storytelling on the fly. Part 2. When the combat actually started, all the husks are there. Dissonance on his stilts, being an actual 9-foot tall monster swinging massive. Nikujo has in her brain, I need to kill literally every single monster to make sure it's safe to start the ceremony. And so we're just delaying and we're not doing it. And there's just hordes and hordes of these monsters. And India, the head of plot, was on the battlefield marshaling. She saw what was happening and she started to pull some strings. And on the fly, one of the Dryad characters, Jute, what started to hear voices of the dryads that had been rescued over the course of the weekend, speaking to him and calling to him and saying, like, you need to go now. The husks are never going to stop. The husks have taken over this earth. And so there were like messages in-game immersive story saying like, we need to change our plan. We have to get out of here now. We'll start the ceremony and it'll blow up like... And it's just, that's how we have to go. And we were able to deliver that message of the mechanics of the fight with story behind it, in game, in character, not breaking immersion, despite the moment of confusion, despite a couple snares of, mechanics not flowing exactly with what a character's natural motivation might be. We were able to roll with it, get the whole town organized, and we got the ceremony. Giant torches in the sky, like pyrotechnics were involved, and then the portal opened and we all got through it. The husk monsters behind us were imploded upon themselves and we saved the day. So thank you, India. Thank you, Tab. Thank you for working with me and answering all of my questions that the Cheetahkin Gorb Nikujo always has about being impatient and smelling things and digging hearts out. I really appreciate that attention to detail. It really helps the immersive experience to have some great storytelling and some great combat. I had a blast, you guys. Thank you.